Hey, what's up guys, Anboni here, and today I wanted to do something I haven't done in quite a while, and that is make an almost useful video. I know, crazy, right? And this one's gonna be about RBGs. It's basically an RBG guide for Shadow Priests for patch 7.3. Now, Shadow Priests are in a pretty interesting spot when it comes to RBGs. We can do a ton of damage, a lot of damage, but we can also get shut down a lot. And there are a couple of ways we can get shut down. We'll get into that. First off, let's start off with the spec I'm playing, the spec I recommend, I guess. Now I first saw this spec, I need to give credits by the way. I first saw this spec on Zot. I don't know if Zot came up with it, I don't know who came up with it. I mean, it's just a bunch of things. But yeah, I saw him use it for the first time, so there you go. So the spec is Twist of Fate, Body and Soul, Mind Bomb, Lingering Insanity, always want to play this in RBGs. Auspicious Spirits instead of Shadowy Insight, I was pretty surprised by this. And then also obviously Misery and Legacy of the Void. Then we play Trinket and we play Initiation instead of Mind Quickness. So this is basically the old Ghost spec, the updated version. So we play Initiation obviously for the synergy with Auspicious Spirits and also with the synergy with Psychic Link. So Initiation, Pure Shadow, Void Origin, Psychic Link and Psyfiend. The way you want to use the synergy between Initiation and Psychic Link is you want to try to prioritize Void Bolting and Mind Blasting targets that are high HP, full HP, so that it crits. If it crits, then 30% of a crit is more damage than 30% of a non-crit. So that's it with the spec. Now let's get on with the actual game. I'll show you a really sick game where I did a ton of damage. Now let's jump into this game. First of all, I gotta mention that there are, the enemy team can shut you down a lot. There are two ways of shutting you down. The first one is if they have a very dispel heavy team, like a lot of priests with MD or Mistweaver monks with the AoE dispel they have, or a lot of holy paladins, they can AoE dispel as well. So that's really annoying. The other annoying thing they could do is just focus you down, and they can have a bunch of melee on you, or they can just have one dedicated warlock dedicated to shut you down. And if the warlock is good, they can really shut you down, especially one CS in void form is enough to shut down a lot of your damage. But in this game they don't do that much. They shut me down a little bit, but you'll see just how bad it is for them if they don't. So the game starts and I just press VT on everything. That's number one priority when you're out of void form. Just VT everything, get to void form. I get locked out here. It's not a big deal because I'm not in void form yet. But I can press void form now, and when I'm in void form, number one priority is void bolt everything. I mean void bolt on cooldown and then keep your dots on everything. I know a lot of priests prioritize VTing everything over void bolting, but again, I've been talking to Zot as well, and he's been saying that he finds it way more efficient to just void bolt on cooldown and then focus on dotting. And yeah, I mean, he's right. That's a lot of damage you're missing out. So right here at around 24 stacks, I pop my Shadow Fiend, my Psyfiend, and I use my Silence as well. I try to kill a healer. I don't even know if he died, but it's a lot of damage. You want to use your Shadow Fiend. You want your Shadow Fiend to end when your Void Form ends, kind of. I used it a little late, but hey, it's fine. And then I also used my Dispersion there when I was about to drop Void Form, just because I want to stay in Void Form for as long as possible. And here again, when I'm about to lose my Void Form, I use my Void Torrent to stay in it as long as possible. Normally you should be able to stay a bit longer than I did with the Freecasting that I was having. I could have probably stayed an extra 10 seconds ish if I played perfectly, but I think I ended up with 50 stacks of my first void form, and you can see in my damage meter my damage is insane. So after that, after your first void form, your second void form is gonna charge up extremely fast because you have the Lingering Insanity, so you instantly get back to void form. And your Lingering Insanity stays with you in the next void form, so you have a lot more haste. And then again, all you do is void bolt on cooldown, and then you make sure everything has dots. Now I'm not doing the best job with my Mind Bomb and my Psyfiend. I should be using them a lot more often, but I was really focusing on just spamming damage in this game, and that's all I do. And again, you can see, you'll see the damage in the end as well. Shadow Priests are very scary when they can free cast like this. Damage is absolutely insane. Oh, I got CC'd there for the first time in a while. And I dispersed offensively again, because I want to stay in void form longer. If you don't get attacked, guys, just use Dispersion offensively. It's a short cooldown, it's fine to use it like that. The way you use dispersion offensively, in case you don't know, it's because you play pure shadow. When you disperse, when you come out of dispersion, actually, for the next 6 seconds, your insanity doesn't drain. So when you're low in insanity in high void form stacks, you can disperse, you come out of dispersion, and then you have 6 seconds of insanity not draining. You have plenty of time to just fill up your insanity bar back to 100. So overall, you get like 10 extra seconds of void form. Now, I want to say that RBGs are not all about damage, but as a Shadow Priest, I know I can do a lot of damage, so I might as well do a lot of damage. Especially here where the CR, I mean the MMR wasn't exactly super high, so I think I can get away with just spamming damage, and that's what I was doing in this BG. I was just focusing on damage. So I'll give you a few more extra general tips, like what to focus on when you play. And then in the end, you also get to hear my team's reaction to my damage. I think you guys will like that, and you also get to see how much damage I did in the end. But yeah, tips. So here we go. The overall idea is something that's very basic and everybody knows this by now, but I think there's nothing wrong in trying to stress it out. You dot everything. This is the overall idea. You dot everything and you stay in void form for as long as you can. And again, it's very basic, but a lot of people don't focus on this at all. They just focus on keeping dots out. And you know, dotting everything is important, but it's more important to stay in void form for a very long time. So the way you stay in void form for a very long time, again, is you void bolt on cooldown, you use your Mind Seer. I see a lot of people not using Mind Seer, and yes, I know Mind Seer is a passive now, but you can Mind Flay a target with Shadow Word Pain, and it basically becomes Mind Seer. So you can Mind Seer if you see a lot of people grouped together or a lot of pets. Mind Seer generates a lot of insanity, so it can buy you a lot of time in void form. You use your dispersion offensively if you can afford it to. Dispersing offensively is huge, and it's actually huge. It's like I said before, like 10 extra seconds on your void form. Then you can use your artifact ability, again in very high stacks of void form, and because you're playing Auspicious Spirits, by the time you finish your artifact channel, you might be back at, I don't know, 50 insanity, maybe even full insanity, depending on the procs you get. So you can do that. Then you want to Mind Blast and you want to Void Bolt targets that are high HP, so you can do more damage with Psychic Link. And one last thing is Twist of Fate. And Twist of Fate is obviously extremely huge. It's a lot of extra damage if you can keep it up for a long time. And the way you can keep Twist of Fate up for a long time, again, I have like a separate video on Twist of Fate. I feel like Twist of Fate is just considered as a passive by a lot of people. They don't think about it. So try to have Twist of Fate up for as long as you can. If you see, you know, any target that's low, put a dot on them. Actually, put a dot on everything. You can Shadow Word dead things. You know how Twist of Fate works. Just try to have Twist of Fate up always. If you can keep Twist of Fate up for the entire team fight, then you're good to go. You'll do so much damage. And then the last thing is your Shadow Fiend and your Psy Fiend. I'm not using my Psy Fiend as much as I should in this game because I was just focused on you know, just everything else. But you want to use your Shadow Fiend. Basically, you want your Shadow Fiend to end when your biggest void form ends. So you want your Shadow Fiend to end at super high stacks, maybe like 40, 50 stacks, 55, 60 stacks if possible. So you may, depending on how confident you are, you can pop Shadow Fiend at like 30 stacks, 20 stacks, 10 stacks maybe, though you can probably do more than 10 stacks. But yeah, around that. And the same goes with Psy Fiend. Psy Fiend does get affected by your haste, so you kind of want a Psy Fiend in when you have high stacks of void form. Now, this BG is almost over, so I just want to talk a little bit about what to do when you get focused. I know most people hate getting trained as a Shadow Priest, and guess what? As a Shadow Priest, you're a pretty juicy target for a lot of people. So when you get trained, it kind of sucks, but you still have to push in and get your VTs out. If you don't get your VTs out, not only do you do no damage, but you also become squishier because VT also heals you. So you kind of have to struggle, power through all the kicks, and just get your VTs out there. Again, if you get spam kicked, just don't focus on VTing the entire team. You're gonna just accept the facts, accept the idea that you're gonna get focused. Just VT like 3 targets, I guess, 2, 3, 4 targets, and then just stay in void form with those 4 targets by pressing instants like Void Bolt, and well, that's it. Now, obviously, in this BG, I didn't get focused almost at all. That's usually not the case, but a lot of times, actually, I mean, it happens quite a lot. But in some occasions, sometimes This is not very often, but sometimes it happens. You get focused so heavily, so much, that you literally can't cast anything. You have like all the healers spam dispelling everything you put out, and you get 3 melee sitting on you and 2 warlocks just rotating kicks, so you don't get to cast anything at all. It's impossible. And when that happens, again, that's not very common, but when it does happen, because it does happen, then you just want to chill back, stay in the back, don't push in, because again, without your VTs, you're going to be very squishy and you're going to die. And of course, you can't disperse offensively, because there's no reason to anyway. So you just chill in the back, you fake cast, I guess that's the best you can do. Try not to get kicked, fake cast as much as you can, and press a lot of instants. Just press Shadow Word Pain as many things as you can. And you will get to Void Form because of Auspicious Spirits. And when you are in Void Form, just use instant Void Bolts and just keep dots on everything. Again, try to fake cast as much as you can. Don't get kicked. If you get kicked, I mean, you will get kicked, of course, it happens. Every class in this game has a kick nowadays, so there's not much you can do. But again, those situations are pretty rare. Usually, you do get focused, but not that much, not to that extent. That's just too much. But sometimes it does happen. But at least you know what to do when you don't get focused at all. You just dot everything, Void Bolt on cooldown. I haven't spoken about Mind Blast too much, but generally you want to Mind Blast quite often. If everything has dots and the, Void Bolt is on cooldown, Mind Blast is #1 priority then. And then you have Mind Flay. You want to Mind Flay actually quite a lot more than you might expect. You Mind Flay for the Tentacle proc and also for the Mind Seer, as I said before. So, when you're in Void form, priority #1 is Void Bolt, then Dots, then Mind Blast, or Mind Seer, depending on your insanity level. It's all about keeping you in Void form for as long as you can. So sometimes it might be more efficient to just Mind Seer instead of Void Bolt. Actually, it happens quite a lot. And one more thing I want to say about my add-on. I know people are gonna ask anyway. The add-on I use right there, it's called Tell Me When, the one with the Void Bolt. It's Tell Me When. You can set it up to show like whatever you want, and I have it to show my Void Bolt, because the longer you stay in Void form, the shorter the cooldown of Void Bolt becomes. And I'm not 100% used to being in high stacks of Void form. I'm not really good at my PvE rotation, but I'm trying to improve, so that's why I have it right there, very obvious in the middle of the screen. Eventually I'll take it down, but for now I'm using that. People are gonna ask anyway, but yeah, that's the add-on. And that's it. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya! Oh, look at that damage.
Yeah, I had wrong talents. Holy shit, dude. Your fingers are on fire.
Fuck, can you do so much damage?
Yeah. I saw that you were like having 700k DPS or something.
Yeah, on the start.
That's
What
fucking
the
unreal.
fuck was that?
Mythic Plus, bro.
Nah, in the start they had 1 million DPS.
Fuck.
I'm not even joking, I checked my meters, it's like, why is my
Balanced
my
by the
DPS
way.
meter only white?